Hey, hi everyone to Primary Market Chatter brought to you by Sunday Investing. This is our September 5th week IPOs. Tomorrow is Friday, the last day of September 5th week. And we are evaluating reviewing like 7 companies today, such as the sheer force and throughput of how many IPOs are getting listed. So it's kind of crazy what we are doing. I think we are reviewing 6 companies, not 7, but yeah. What we wanted to do was to take this Friday, Thursday evening, slightly light in terms of the schedule for everyone, simply because it's Gandhi Jayanti and Dashera. Many holiday, many festival wishes for that. But yeah, what we'll do is we'll do today's episode really quickly. We'll review 5 SMEs, one Mainboard, and take it forward from there. Just want to like the order for the day is we'll keep it slightly vague. We'll change the order basis how everyone's availability is. But we'll do Zelio E-Mobility, we'll do Valplast Technologies, we'll do Infinity, which was added at the last moment of time because a couple of people had messaged it. We could do Infinity Infoways as well, and Sachin was kind enough to cover that up quickly. We'll do Sheel Biotech, we'll do Munish Forge, and then we'll do Advanced Agro Care on the Mainboard side. So that is with respect to the agenda for the day. But before that, just want to highlight what I always say. We are not SEBI registered. We don't have a qualified opinion. Everything that we try and say, discount everything. Use your judgment in order to make your review. Think of only this as what we are doing with our application, which might or might not have any impact with the listing or whatever, how the stock performs. So, but yeah, do your own due diligence. What we have also done is we have started doing a lot of KMPs, KYPs, Know Your Promoter series interviews, where we talk to promoters of companies which are bringing their IPOs, which are up on our YouTube channel. So if you haven't joined your YouTube channel yet, the link is in the pinned comments. Go ahead and do that. If I can also please ask you to forward the YouTube channel link to your friends as well, where you can just tell them the kind of work we are doing. That would be helpful. But yeah, with that, maybe we can start today's episode. We'll start with Zelio E-Mobility, just setting up the company. Incorporated in 2021, companies engaged in manufacturing, assembling, and supplying of electric vehicles like 2-wheelers and 3-wheelers. So basically electric e-vehicles बनाती है company under the brand Zelio, 2-wheelers के लिए, and Tanga for 3-wheelers. Tanga है, Tanga है, I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, funny name. But yeah, it's one of those like Tunwal करके एक company आई थी, and then I remember Deltic करके एक company आई थी. So there have been a few companies in this segment. They unfortunately haven't worked. We'll see how this one is. IPO size की बात कर तो 78 crores का IPO है, 63 crores fresh issue है, 15 crores का OFS है. So I know Sachin would be like, OFS है, valuation पसंद नहीं आई. But we'll talk about it when we come to it. In terms of and again, just kidding. In terms of the market cap is 290 crores जिस पे company आ रही है. So 290 crores पे 78 का dilution है. So like 28% dilution. FY25 financials की बात करूँ तो revenue 174 crores है. PAT 16 crores है. So 16 crores पे 288 का market cap यानी लगभग 16 times है. 15, 16 times, something like that. LM की बात करूं तो LM Heim Securities है, who has a good name in the industry. So over to you, Sachin, to talk about Zelio E-Mobility.
Am I audible?
Yep.
All right. So you told a lot. I'll keep this one short. So this Zelio Mobility, they started in 2021, around 2021 that time. So they are based out of Haryana, and what they do is they do all sorts of assembly for this 2-wheelers, 3-wheelers, and various other popular brands that they have launched within their main brands of Zelio and Tanga. The brands are like Gracie, Legender, Mystery, X-Men, and all sorts of crazy names for this 2-wheeler and 3-wheeler. What they are doing is they are sourcing all of these components from China and some other countries as well, and they have their assembly and factory lines made up in Haryana, and that is where they are assembling these 2-wheelers and 3-wheelers. So currently they are utilizing around 52% of their capacity out of 72,000 units that they can manufacture in Haryana. And out of these, the 2-wheelers are largely dominating with 90% revenue share. And what they do is they basically don't directly sell to the customer, but have a good network, good network of these B2B network to various other suppliers and distribution centers, and around 350 plus dealers across 20 plus states, with Haryana is the major driving force here with 50% revenue share for these two wheelers. Also, what they are claiming for this festive season is they are offering some higher warranty period, like 2.5 years, 3 years warranty as well, and supplying more color options. And also they are launching one scheme of 3 vehicles for 80,000 rupees with some applicable conditions, etc. So this is their primary motive for this festive season, to maybe sell more of these two wheelers and three wheelers. Now, coming to their financials, in FY23 they did 51 CR of revenue with 6% PAT. In FY24, 95 CR revenues with PAT in the similar range, 6.5%. But in FY25, we see a good push for in the revenues with 174 CR revenues booked, and the PAT margin is quite high in this year, around 9% PAT. And then we see the usual inventory build-up, current asset build-up, receivables piling up to support these high margins, but the cash from operations then turns negative. So I do not know whether this will sustain or not going ahead, but the push is visible from this company to more and more dealers and to launch more and more products in the market. For FY26, they are targeting around 50 to 60% growth with similar margins, and that will also be supported by some savings from loans that they are repaying from their IPO proceeds. Some positive that I see is that the sentiment is positive. It is changing for auto recently. So that is the only positive I see with this assembling company. Now for the risk, there is no shortage of peers in this segment. Maybe it listed, many of them are not listed, and they are just basically importing stuff and then they are assembling all of this in their factories. So not much unique that they are doing here. Also, the brand recall is not very much, given the larger players have nationwide distribution centers and maybe B2B suppliers, etc. So to replicate that, it is not possible for someone like Zelio. At this moment, maybe they can do ahead going ahead, but nothing as of now. For the IPO use, 20% is OFS, and from the net proceeds, 20 CR is for loan repayment, 19 CR is for one new plant that they are setting up for manufacturing plant, and that should come live in Q1 of FY27, and the rest 8 CR is for working capital. Now for the pricing, if we take the higher margins for FY25, it's near 17 to 18 times. But if we take the normal FY24 margins, it comes to around 25 to 26 times. So that seems high, but on the FY24 margins. Now for the peers, there are many peers, as I told before. In SME as well, many came in the recent past. Tunwal, Delta Auto, there is one Bikevo as well, and one Supertech EV as well. And sadly or not sadly, none performed well, and still they are struggling as well. And many of these are trading below 10 times, and that is on trailing basis. Even on forward, they might be even lower. Lead manager here is AIM. Good reputation in the market, so that should hold good as well for this, I think. Anchors were decent, but we see again the names like Shanshi was there, Carnelian Fund was also there, India Max was also there. So these names are appearing more frequent in the recent issues only. So can't judge whether they are there for the anchor list only or for some other purpose, but it's okay. So for the final thing from my end, zero interest in Zelio for now. That's all.
Got it. That was brutal. But same here as well. I'll not be applying to Celio. Although I think issue price protect हो जाएगा, but would be just bare about protected, and then we'll see what happens outside of that. But yeah, I would not be applying to Zelio. With that, moving forward, talking about the second company setting it up, incorporated in 2014. We'll talk about Valplast Technologies, the second company. Setting it up, incorporated in 2014. Company is a civil engineering and construction company engaged in structural waterproofing, injection grouting services, and precast concrete work, and offer services such as thermoplastic welding, sheet waterproofing, specialized drilling services, etc. So basically, company, from my understanding, is in टनल ईपीसी, टनल्स वगैरह का जो काम होता है कंपनी वो करती है हाई लेवल पे. हमने इनके प्रमोटर्स से भी बात किया था, सो इफ यू हैव चेक दैट, गो अहेड एंड डू दैट एज वेल. आई विल जस्ट लिंक द know your promoter series interview of this here. But yeah, in terms of the IPO is of size of 28 crore rupees, all of which is a fresh issue. Market cap 106 crores, guys. So basically 106 crores per company, 28 crores raise career, so around whatever 26-27%, which is the raise. In terms of like FY25 financials की बात करूं तो FY25 financials 65 crores का revenue किया है उनने, and 6 crores का PAT किया है. So it's coming at like 17 P forward trailing, which seems slightly expensive at a high level, but we'll try and understand. In terms of the LM is new intellectual corporate advisor, so that is also one thing which we need to keep in mind. But yeah, with that, I'll hand it over to Rohit to talk about Valplast. Before I do that, just want to again highlight I have linked the podcast as well, where we have spoken with Sanjay Singh ji, who is the promoter for Valplast Technologies. So go ahead and listen to that at your leisure and form a view. But yeah, over to you, Rohit, to talk about Valplast.
Thanks, Munish. So as you sort of set the ground, they are a civil engineering infra company, but they have a focus in just one segment, and that is tunneling. So they started by doing value-added work in tunneling, which is basically waterproofing and the mechanical, electrical, plumbing work that comes along with tunnels. When you see the RHP, you'll see a breakup of revenue. It comes from MEP, it comes from waterproofing. These are all specific to tunnels only. Apart from that, they also do the actual tunneling, which is the larger project within which stuff like waterproofing and all comes in. And they also do some repair and rehab of tunnels too. This is existing tunnels that need to be maintained, upkeep, or sort of just refurbished. So broadly, this is what they do. As you can imagine, this work is obviously a lot more complex than just a normal EPC, than just say what a road EPC would do, which is say just building highways on flat land. When you have to cut tunnels through hills and mountains and so on, that requires a lot more work, a lot more engineering. There's a lot more design angle also. You've got to be careful of things like landslide, seepage, water, flooding. I mean, there's so many different things to look at when you're doing tunneling work. So I think the most important takeaway in my head is that what these guys do is not just simple EPC work, but definitely slightly more complex than many of the standard EPC businesses that come. Now, more recently, they started doing the tunneling itself. So that is new. Tunneling, I think they're doing one project currently. They have one tunneling machine also with them. And one of the objects of this issue is to purchase a second tunneling machine. What I'm not sure is if it is for the same project or for another project, but they are going into the tunneling piece also, which is in a way going more upstream and trying to capture more of the margin. There's one interesting thing that is there in the RHP, which is they say that they worked or one of the segments they work in is defense. And this is something that we also checked with the management in the interview. So you can also listen to it. Now, these guys, when they start, and I'll cover this, what they mean by defense. But just a backstory, this company started as Renesco, which was actually the subsidiary of a Swiss company called Marti Group, which itself is a large tunneling civil engineering group. They had this company was their Indian arm. Sometime in 2021 or something, I think post-COVID, those guys left India, and this company then rebranded to Valplast, but they retained the technical know-how and tunneling and so on. Now, as Renesco, these guys did work and do some defense projects, which unfortunately the management cannot disclose. But what we understand and what we have heard, so some of this just take it as a little bit of hearsay. So don't view this as what I'm saying is definitely right. It is just noise that we have also heard. But they are doing a bunch of things on the defense side too. Or they have done some things on the defense side in the past, some very specific projects that, again, the management is very tight-lipped about. So hopefully some of this information will come post, once the company lists, and maybe as things can be disclosed, they will disclose it. But they've definitely done some work in defense, in terms of storage of some stuff for the army, from what we understand. And they're also bidding for a bunch of different defense projects certain tunnel kind of projects. Again, honestly, these things have to come, or they have to actually win these orders for me to put a lot of weight behind it. But there is certainly some noise that they have done, and they're bidding for certain things on the defense side. This is tunnels that can only be used by the army. There is also some noise that they are waterproofing vendor with DRDO and so on. But again, I'm just mentioning what I've heard. This is not specifically from the RHP. So just keep this as something to track and watch out for in the future, because if these things do turn out to be true, this company will definitely get re-rated at that point. At the moment, though, you view it as a sort of tunneling EPC business that should get a bigger premium over just any other EPC business. Now, they have about a 250 crore order book, and as of now, nothing in the order book is from defense, from what I understand. Last 2 years, they've done around 65 crore, which has been largely flat. I think this was because of some specific land issues for one of their projects. But this year, they're expecting that they should grow 60-70% this year. Margins should stay the same. They maintain that their margins are higher than typical EPC, despite being a subcontractor, because of the nicheness of what they do. One point here is they do have high receivables, almost 6 months of receivables, and they expect that to largely stay in that range because of the nature of the work they do. But they do ensure that they're cash flow positive. So they manage it in other ways, in terms of inventory or receivables and stuff. And they say that we will always be cash flow positive. So that's at least good. They're able to manage the cash flows well. Now, this company is coming at 17x trailing, or I wouldn't say trailing because we're already in October now, but this is 17 times FY25. A good peer for this company is SRM Contractors. They do slightly different work. They don't just do tunneling. They do a lot of slope stabilization work. They also work with, say, BRO, which is defense. Part of the defense in the Himalayas. SRM does a lot of road laying in like, say, hilly terrain and stuff. So I would say it's more complex EPC business than just a road EPC. So I think SRM is probably the one company you can consider a peer here. SRM trades at 21, 22 times. Now in the anchor book, I didn't find any specific names, very normal, common names, so nothing to read there. My read on the promoter is very solid, very technically sound. May not seem very, flashy or very expressive that way, but at least I felt that he knows what he's doing. And of course, he has that history from Renesco he's been in this industry for like a couple of decades. So he understands this space very, very well. I think overall, the segment should trade higher than a typical road EPC, which is, say, 12 times, 13 times. Probably post H1, this company is at 17x, will probably actually come down to maybe 13, 14 times anyway. At that point, I think it will get a bigger multiple than what it is, what that number would be, which means I do think it should trade at a premium to its IPO price by then. But I feel that the real re-rating will come when people know about the defense story fully, if the defense story plays out. Especially, and the thing with defense, it can take time also. Like, you might think it'll come in 2 months, it might come in like a year. So yeah, I would say keep an eye on this company. It's a pretty decent bet. I don't expect any listing gains. Probably will be flattish, but looks a bettable company from a 6 month, 9 month kind of perspective if some of these triggers actually play out.
Got it. Thank you, Rohit, for that. But yeah, that was with respect to Valplast. Interesting company. We'll see how the projects kind of pan up. We'll have a look at that. But yeah, with that, maybe we can cover Valplast. I'm still not 100% sure whether I'll be applying or not on Valplast. This is one which is in my list of IPOs to watch out for. I'll see how I don't know right now. Rohit, would you be applying right now?
I don't know. I'll see. If I apply, it will not be with any expectation for listing gain. It'll be with no expectation for listing gain. I don't expect in this market it to list well, but if I apply, it will be with a view to hold for at least H2 results and hopefully some news in the middle.
Got it. Yeah, it's very similar. I would also probably try and do the same. We'll look at other issues as well, but yeah, with that, let's quickly moving forward and talking about the third company. The third company we'll be talking about is Munish Forge. Setting up Munish, incorporated in 1986, company manufactures components including flanges, scaffolding, auto parts, tank tracks, bomb shells, fence posts, and steel accessories. It serves the Indian Army and industries such as defense, oil and gas, automobile, construction, etc. So that is with respect to Munish. IPO की बात करूँ तो 74 crores का IPO है, all of which is a fresh issue, बड़ा IPO है. Market cap 231 crores का है. FY25 financials 180 crores का कंपनी ने टॉप लाइन किया था, पैट 14 crores का है. So it's coming at like 17p trailing. Interesting how all companies have started coming at a higher trailing, but that's also because 6 महीने हो गए हैं, so maybe it makes sense. I don't know. In terms of the LM is Greatex Corporate Services. So with that, over to you, Sachin, to talk about Munish.
Am I audible?
Yep.
All right. So this Munish Forge, I call it Munish. They are Ludhiana based, and they have a good history going back from 1980 to 1990s. And now they are being managed and operated and handled by this third generation promoters. So what they do is they are into forging and casting components. So they supply tank tracks, some bomb shells as well. Tank tracks is like tank की जो chain होती है नीचे that makes the tanks move. Those are tank tracks. Also for oil and gas industries, they make flanges to join pipes and valves in this oil and gas industry. And also they make some auto parts, loaders, teethers, etc. And these scaffoldings. So scaffoldings क्या है, जो temporary structures को join करने के लिए जो maybe long rods and pipes that we see, तो वो scaffolding है. And scaffolding is largely an export product for them. So out of these total products that they make, 70% revenues comes from exports, and the rest 30% is from domestic. And these tank tracks and chains that they are claiming for their defense vertical, that holds around 10 to 12% revenue share in FY25. Which they are looking to scale up slowly going ahead. Also, they claim that they are one of the sole suppliers to issue these tank chains for some specialized Russian tanks that are being operated in India and some nearby countries as well. And recently they acquired one casting division at the start of FY25 to cater to their overall operations. Going by their capacity utilization across all the products that they make, it is near 50 to 60%, with which and this tank chains and tank track capacity, they are utilizing around 85 to 90%. So that is their high capacity utilization product. Also the bomb shell that they are mentioning for this, all of this defense thing that is going on, nothing was on the capacity was utilized for FY25, and they are saying that they have some orders as well to go ahead and utilize this in FY26 and FY27. And now for the bomb shell thing, they said that they have been operating and trying to get into this segment from 2014, around 10 to 11 years back. But due to all of these, they mentioned that there were regulations as well, and due to prototyping delays as well, and some inspections, all of this got delayed, and that is why they could not scale up this vertical for now. Now, coming to their financials, in FY23 they did 161 CR of revenues with near 6% EBITDA. In FY24 the revenues were flat again, near 161, and the EBITDA slightly improved to 7%. But in this year the volumes and the pricing which they get for their products, that was not very good, both in terms of volumes and in terms of pricing. So that reflected in nearly flat revenues. For FY25, the revenue got some push around 10 to 11% to 178 CR, but the EBITDA rose very sharply in this year, around 13%. And the rationale for this is that the higher volume was visible, but the pricing was still not there, so the revenue could not increase by more than 10%. But when we look deep into the cash flows, the line by items for operating cash flows are not matching by what the rationale they are saying for their higher margins. So I do not think that these margins are sustainable if they are increasing in IPO year only. For FY26, they are saying that 30 to 35% will be their growth target with similar margins as and when they scale up their bombshell vertical. Now for the risk, in FY25, surprisingly, around 81 to 82% of their employees resigned the company. Attrition rate was around 81%. And in the recent year before FY25 as well, it was around 50 to 60%. So that is one thing to note. Also in their manufacturing premises only, where they have this factory, there is some cloth showroom as well, which they are operating maybe they are operating themselves or there is some group entity, but that is visible in that same location only. Now coming to the IPO, this IPO has some OFS as well, apart from the fresh issue. So this OFS in some parts is to settle some personal liabilities of the promoters, and this is mentioned in some meet of the some investor meet as well. Now out of the net proceeds, 7 crores is for getting new machinery to facilitate this their existing operations. 10 cr is for a repayment of borrowings, which should help with the bottom line after interest repayment burden settles down, and 30 cr is for working capital. Now if we take the FY25 margins, it's coming around 17 to 18 times, but if we normalize them on FY24, it is way higher than 30 to 32 times. I don't know if the FY25 margins will sustain or not. Many peers in this forging and casting segment. So what differentiate this Munish will be this tank tracks and the upcoming bombshell vertical. If it really is something, so it should hit and get it the right valuations. And though for the peers that they have mentioned in RHP, they are very extreme. They have mentioned Happy Forging and Ramakrishna Forgings, and they are much higher, much better peers, and Munish is not comparable to them at the current scale. Lead manager is Gretex, decent enough. Sometimes they work, sometimes do not. Anchors looked usual. No name I saw that stood out well in the anchor list. So personally, I would be waiting for more clarity to get on these new verticals and these margins front, as I explained. Until that, I'm not very much interested in this issue. Thank you.
Got it. Okay, that was again a brutal review. इसमें defense का कितना काम है अभी? I think majorly is your flanges, right? 85%, 15% is defense, right? And then they have they want to do more of defense going forward. Is that correct?
Yes. Around defense was only 10 to 12%, and in that also वो जो tank tracks वो बना रहे वही major था FY25 में भी. Going forward, they are trying to increase more of these tank tracks and those bombshells, for which they have the capacity already but have not utilized it for now. Maybe in FY26 and beyond they will utilize it, and then we get more clarity.
Understood. Because if that plays out, I don't know how, because right now this is more of a forging company, right, which wants to enter defense. And let's see how that evolves. The segment is tricky right now. I also haven't made much mind on Munish as well. I haven't read that much in detail as well, right? Because there are so many issues. But yeah, so we'll see. So I somehow don't see it will also list in any premium because everything is just breaking, right? If anything, this is a much bigger issue as well. Like this is a 74 issue, 74 CR issue, right? So would have some time, will take some time for liquidity to get soaked, which is what I'm assuming will be happening with a lot of issues as well right now because they are not just moving directly, right? Because so many companies. So we'll see. That was with respect to Munish. We'll quickly move forward and talk about the fourth company. The fourth company we'll be discussing is Sheel Biotech. Before that, let me just highlight that we also are on Instagram right now, where what we try and do is कि हम Instagram पे IPO stories in a minute करके डालते हैं, where every IPO that comes, we try and understand from the promoter the USP for the company and try and put it in a minute in a slightly more engaging and catchy way. So I have pinned the Instagram up in comments. If you haven't joined us on Instagram, sunday.investing, please go ahead and do that. वहाँ पे कुछ 6-7 reels are live. Please go ahead and look at them as well. Tell us your views. What do you think of it? Is it helpful? Is it not helpful? Should we do more of that? Should we not do more of that? Let us know. But yeah, with that, let me move forward to the fourth company. Fourth company we'll be covering is Sheel Biotech. So incorporated in 1991, company specializes in biotechnology, floriculture, greenhouses, and organic projects. It grows and supplies various plants for field crops, fruits, vegetables, and ornamentals through tissue culture and organic farming. So horticulture, organic farming की company, we'll talk about it more. I'll be covering the company in terms of the IPO. It's a 34 crore IPO, all of which is a fresh issue. Market cap 128 crores की है. FY25 financials की बात करूं, so 128 crores पे 34 का dilution है, so around 26% dilution. FY25 financials की बात करूं तो 102 crores का top line किया है कंपनी ने and 10.6 crores का bottom line किया है. So they're coming at like 12p, which at least on face of it is cheap. In terms of the LM is Nanolia Financial Services. So just going back to going back to your Sheel Biotech. So जैसा मैंने बताया कंपनी मेजरली हॉर्टिकल्चर एंड ऑर्गेनिक फार्मिंग वगैरह वाले सेक्टर में काम करती है वे दे ग्रोस और सप्लाई करते हैं ये फ्रूट्स वेजिटेबल्स एंड उसके अलावा प्लांटिंग मटेरियल वगैरह की सर्विसेज देते हैं हॉर्टिकल्चर प्रोजेक्ट्स करते हैं ऑर्गेनिक adoption and certification में हेल्प करते हैं देन देयर आर सम थिंग्स कॉल्ड द फार्मर प्रोडक्शन ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस जिनको ये सपोर्ट करते हैं एस्टेब्लिश करने में बनाने में एंड देन स्किल डेवलपमेंट करते हैं सो दैट इज विद रिस्पेक्ट टू द कंपनी बट अगर आपको बहुत ही हाई लेवल पे समझना है तो बेसिकली दे provide landscaping services to government and private sector and then they also do all kinds of tissue culture वगैरह वाली चीजें which is still relatively nascent and then they also do your और ये ग्रीन हाउस जो प्लांट्स बनते हैं ना ग्रीन हाउस एंड पैक हाउसेस जो बनते हैं उनका स्ट्रक्चर वगैरह ये लोग बनाते हैं सो in the current setup most of their income is actually coming from greenhouse and pack housing and landscaping and planting and very little income is coming from tissue culture and sale of plants etc like 102 crores का जो इनका टॉप लाइन है उसमें से 28% इज फ्रॉम ग्रीन हाउस का स्ट्रक्चर सो बेसिकली ग्रीन हाउस क्या होता है किसी किसान को बनाना है तो और उसको गवर्नमेंट बहुत ज्यादा सब्सिडी देता है एंड देन उनको एक वेंडर असाइन कर देता है दिस गाय इज ऑन दैट वेंडर लिस्ट ये असाइन हो जाएगा तो ये जाके बना देगा द गाय हैज टू पे 20% गवर्नमेंट विल पे 80% समथिंग लाइक दैट कैन बी रॉन्ग ऑन द numbers बट या दैट इज द स्ट्रक्चर अंडर विच दिस गाय ऑपरेट सो ये गवर्नमेंट के लिए बिकॉज ऑफ दैट B2G में green houses and packaging structures banata hai 28% of business is that then they do landscaping and planting 34% business wo hai which is again a big chunk of business which is like 60% of your business is this EPC sort of for planting and structures of greenhouses etc then they have like 20% from tissue culture and say 10% from organic farming, which is your farming, and then 10% from skill development. So that is with respect to their breakup of revenue. So although it's being sold as a biotech company, but end of the day, this is still another planting company. एक आई थी बीच में, which I remember didn't do very well. I'll try and pull it up. It was from Arihant, from what I remember. So I'll try and pull Arihant IPOs in the meanwhile. But yeah. Organic recycling system, maybe it was this, but I will come back to it. We'll see. In terms of like, इनने जो plants वगैरह भी अपने बताए हुए हैं, so they've done some projects of like 10 CR where they have built vegetable plug seedling production units, infrastructure के लिए इनने vegetable pack houses वगैरह बनाए हुए हैं. Across the country they have worked. Then they have an order book as well where they are building 9 crores worth of project for plantation and maintenance work, etc. But majorly they seem like a landscaping player right now who wants to go into that segment in terms of the promoter. Promoter seems technically qualified and has been in this industry for a lot of time. 34 years of experience in agriculture and has a PhD degree as well. So seems rather educated who has been doing this. But yeah, in terms of the FI financials की अगर बात करूं तो like and again 56% of the revenue is from B2G, which is where a lot of problems also start coming in. But yeah, before I do that, let me just give you a hint of financials as well. FY25 में कंपनी ने 102 crores का टॉप लाइन किया था 10 crores का बॉटम लाइन किया था FY24 में this number was 92 top line 10 bottom line. So bottom line is the growth has been stuck at that, and it's a very old company, 1991, if I remember. That is the year it was started, right? So it's been going around for some years, but the revenue rather has been stagnant for the lack of a better word. But yeah, 1991 company, so 35 years old company. End of the day, in terms of like, जैसा मैंने बताया कि most of the work is coming from government, 56%, other 43% for non-government. अब issues की बात करता हूँ, so basically balance sheet की जब मैंने size देखी तो it's 111 crore or something like that balance sheet, which is looks like a very beefed up balance sheet for 100 crore. कहाँ लगा हुआ है, so some 57 crores of receivables the company has, simply because the segment is such, right? पैसा बहुत फंसता हुआ है, I'm sure. So 57 crores is with receivables stuck in the company, then some 40 CR worth of inventory they are carrying, which just eats up almost all the size of the balance sheet. And inventory, essentially, they have categorized ornamental plants, etc., as well as inventory, which would be perishable in nature. So that is a risk on the business. Then company पे कई सारे cases हैं, civil cases, criminal cases, which is what you will assume would be how this segment will work. Like कुछ तो horticulture के उनने plant बनाया है 16 लाख का, फिर 16 लाख का compensation मांगा है जो भी farmers हैं उनने. So it's a very tricky industry. Working in this industry is not easy. So it's a difficult industry that way. So because of which, again, my confidence is slightly lower. In terms of the raise, जो भी ये 26, 20, wait, let me see, how much is the raise? 34 CR का raise है, 9 crores out of which is going for capex, 15 crores for working capital, and then remaining is going for GCP. So they do want to grow into this biotech sort of the world where they want to do more of टिश्यू कल्चर, हाइड्रोपोनिक्स में प्लांट्स उगा के उनका बेटर प्रोडक्टिविटी करना. बट फॉर नाउ दे जस्ट सीम टू बी डूइंग अ लॉट ऑफ एक्टिविटीज इन एंसिलरी ऑफ दैट, which anyways are very like working capital constraint and where receivable days are all over the place. So because of which I have slightly less confidence. I will tell you a couple of good things, though, because I've been like my review has been slightly mixed. In terms of the good things, great anchors for when I looked at the anchor book and the company, somehow there is something which I didn't understand. Sunil Singhania with Bharat Venture Opportunities Fund has taken 41%. Sansi, which is Mukul Agrawal, has taken 10%. Earth has taken 30%. So anchor book is great. Valuation is decent if you just consider the 10 CR as the real PAT. Although a lot of that PAT is essentially like I'm not sure. There is a risk that that inventory may be written off in some time in the future because they've been carrying that inventory for a lot of time, and trade receivable are also wacky. Like half of the revenue of the year is stuck in trade receivables, and it's stuck last year as well. Last year we 55 CR का trade receivable था, इस बार भी 57 CR का trade receivable है out of 102 crores. So it's a difficult industry to be in. But good anchors, good valuation. If it was probably the only issue, would have flown on these anchor names, but so many issues. These anchors being coming in rather across a lot of issues as well. I don't have a lot of hopes. I would be sadly skipping the company for now, and probably reevaluate once I have more clarity on what do they want to do in biotech, etc. If they want to do something. But for now, it just seems like a company which wants to work, which is working in ancillaries with big dreams, but it's a very difficult industry to work with farmers on ground and get money from government. It's a tough industry. So that is with respect to Sheel Biotech. Maybe with that, we will now move forward and talk about the fifth company. Just quickly seeing if there are any comments which need answers. And if not, maybe we'll move forward. Again, we'll highlight that if you haven't joined our Instagram, please go ahead and do that. With that, the fifth company which we picked up towards the end, thanks Sachin for doing that, was Infinity Infoways. Let me quickly set up Infinity Infoways for Sachin. Yeah, just incorporated in 2008, company is a SaaS company specializing in customized ERP solutions, enterprise resource planning. Their campus management system is the most flagship program deployed in 26 universities like Nirma University, uh, Saurashtra University, etc. Setting up the company and the IPO, it's a 24.4 crore IPO, छोटा सा IPO 25 crores का, market cap 82 crores पे आ रही है कंपनी. FY25 फाइनेंशियल्स की बात करूं तो 13 crores का रेवेन्यू है, छोटा सा रेवेन्यू भी छोटा है काफी. पैट 4.2 crores का है. So 4.2 crores पे 82 crores का रेज है, 20 के पी पे आ रहा है. And campus management system by definition is a very common product a lot of people have built ERP systems for that. We'll try and understand if there's something unique in the company. In terms of the LM is Holani, who is somehow a specialist in opening companies very high when you don't understand why they would open high. But yeah, that is with respect to the LM. Over to you, Sachin, to talk about Infinity Infoways.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
All right. So this Infinity Infoways, they are, as you mentioned, a SaaS-based ERP and enterprise solutions provider, and basically they focus on education and some other verticals and industries as well, like manufacturing, retail, construction sectors as well. So for all of these sectors, they provide their ERP and solutions. Now, the key products, especially for their education vertical, includes campus management and HR management, accounts management. Also, they are now trying to make some AI-enabled education platforms as well. And one of their marquee products, as they say, is their zero-touch question paper distribution segment. उसमें क्या होता है कि जैसे जो भी क्वेश्चन पेपर सेटअप करने के टाइम जो भी पीपल इन्वॉल्व होते हैं या अथॉरिटीज इन्वॉल्व होती है तो उनको कम से कम रखना, ताकि टेक्नोलॉजी के यूज से जो क्वेश्चन पेपर्स हैं दैट आर नॉट एबल टू गेट आउट ऑफ द अथॉरिटीज हैंड्स, सो दैट वो लीक ना हो और मे बी दे कैन be distributed in a safe and secure way. So these are their primary verticals, and also they are coming up with their new digital learning platform as well. So that is in a process for now. 70 to 80% revenues is from this education segment, and the rest from all of the other segments. So what they do is they make a subscription based SaaS model where they get charge one time fee for implementation of all of these products, and then they charge the AMC fees year on year. Currently, they are catering to more than 40 universities, 38 to 40 universities, and what they are targeting is more than 200 universities going ahead in 1 to 2 years time. So primarily the focus is on these universities ERP solutions and campus management, and also that zero touch question paper distribution system, for which they claim that they have catered to more than 160 crores of exam papers in the recent years, all combined universities. They also have some 55 CR of order books for 2 years, and their general tender win ratio is around 22%. So that should help them give revenue visibility for FY26 and 27. Now coming to their past financials, in FY23 they did 5 CR of revenues with 28% EBITDA. In FY24, when they got in with more universities and launched more of their SaaS-based subscription services, the revenues jumped to 10 CR, and as well as the EBITDA jumped to around 47 to 48. And in FY25, the revenues were around 13 CR with similar EBITDA and near 30% PAT. So going forward, they are targeting maybe 26 to 27 CR this year, and probably higher in the next coming years. Now, coming to the risk which I found out about this company, is with respect to their associate company, this Infinity Travel Solutions one, that is their associate company, which was earlier their subsidiary, and Paytm also has some stake in that subsidiary company. So their financials, which are presented on the website of this Infinity Infoway, as well as that are visible in the RHP to some extent, they are not matching with the financials that are available, audited financials which are available on record. So there is some discrepancy in both of these sets of financials for many number of financial years, be it FY21, FY22, FY23 as well. And the consolidated revenues we see in the RHP, around 80% of those consolidated revenues are coming from this associate company. So around 13 CR, which is the FY25 revenues, around 11 CR is probably coming from this associate company, which is a travel booking company, which lets you book bus, आपको book करने देते हैं, it lets you book aeroplane tickets, etc. And the working capital raise and also the tender money raise that we see in this IPO, it is for the standalone company, जो ये आपकी SaaS और ERP based company है. So both of these issues are not matching in between them. So need some clarity going ahead on this, if something like this is really the case. Now, another risk that I saw is this zero touch question paper system that they're trying to build in. they do not have any patents for it. So maybe someone else can copy, and there are many other who offers the systems as well, unlisted and listed players as well. Also, they cater to these government universities, so receivable cycle is high, around 2.5 to 3 months. The cash gets stuck and you get the strain on working capital. Now, out of the IPO use, which is a fresh issue entirely, 3 CR is for development of these zero touch question paper systems. 2 CR is to purchase some new computer hardware, and 4 CR is for tender money deposits, and 8 CR is for working capital. If we combine both, around 12 CR is for working capital only, because both of these are used in their day-to-day operations. Now, coming to the pricing, it's near 19 times at the FY25 numbers, and possibly below 15 times from what they're projecting. There is no shortage in this segment for peers, from large TCS to some unlisted ones like Mastersoft as well. All provide such services like this zero touch system, where there is a system to maybe monitor your exam. अगर आप एग्जाम घर से ऑपरेट कर रहे हैं तो एक सिस्टम है जो आपको मॉनिटर कर रहा है एग्जाम के दौरान, तो that is available in many of the companies. But specifically for what we see in the RHP is one Vertex Flex company, which trades near 70 times. So they have specifically shown that only as their peer in the RHP. Lead manager is Holani. Decent enough, as we saw in current infra recently, which listed quite high. In Anchor as well, they took a majority stake. So for the final thing, I think I would be still waiting to get more clarity on those issues with the associate and this Infinity Infoway. And until that comes, I would probably stay out. That's all.
Got it, yeah. From what I can see on screen, there is a GMP for this issue, so somehow I feel ये सबसे ज़्यादा बढ़ेगा कल. I would avoid because so many issues that I don't want to go for this one, but would something happen on listing? Who knows? If you want to try your luck, maybe try your luck. I doubt this will list in discount, but I don't want to hold this company for a day longer than listing, is what my review is. That is what I would be doing personally. You do you. With that, maybe we'll move forward. Thank you, Sachin, for doing that. And talk about one last company. The last company we'll be talking about is a Mainboard issue, but a very small issue. So SME level raise on Mainboard. The company's name is Advanced Agrolife. Setting it up, incorporated in 2002, companies engaged in manufacturing of wide range of agrochemical products that support the entire life cycle of crops. So उसके लिए काम करती है जो crops में insecticides, pesticides वगैरह डालते हैं. Companies' products are used in cultivating major cereals, vegetables, crops across seasons in India. In terms of the IPO, it's a 193 crore IPO, all of which is a fresh issue, 193 crores का. जिसमें market cap पे company आ रहा है that's 643 crores. So something like 29% is what is being diluted. FY25 financials की बात करूँ तो revenue 500 करोड़ का है, PAT 25 करोड़ का है, 500 crores पे revenue पे PAT 25 crores. So 5% PAT margin business, coming at like expensive 24p, 24, yeah, 26p, something like that. Trailing. In terms of the LM is cash capital. So with that, over to you, Tanmay, to talk about Advanced Agrolife.
Just give me 20 seconds, sir.
Sure, sure. Yeah, so that is with respect to Advanced Agrolife. Then there are a few issues which we haven't covered yet, like back convergence करके एक company है. Then there are a few other companies as well which are closing tomorrow. How have we selected? It's kind of random. There's not a lot of thought into it. What we have already read, and we feel there is some chatter. We have kind of covered those, but we have left a few as well. Like Sun Sky Logistics is probably closing tomorrow, which we have left. Then this Sloka Dice, has it closed? There's just so many companies. Dillon Freight Carrier has already closed. Don't even know. So there are so many issues that are coming that it's just becoming difficult to keep track. What we'll do is going forward, we'll hopefully this number reduces from next week, which like next week there are two very big IPOs, Tata Capital and LG, which would be coming. But after that, hoping some reduction happens. So when that happens, that's when we'll take some time in order to review companies as well. Although I don't know what is happening. Like yesterday, also so many new DRHPs filed that it's a proper blast on the primary market cycle. Feel that would continue, but yeah, we'll see when it happens. Yeah, with that, maybe let's
I'm
wait
ready.
it
I'm
out
ready.
for that while. Yeah, okay. So we can now start with Advanced Agrolife. Over to you,
Is my
Tanmay.
voice clear?
Yep.
So, Advanced Agrolife Limited is a Jaipur-based manufacturer of agrochemical products. So, I'll just classify their products in three categories. First is agrochemicals. इसके अंदर these guys have insecticides, herbicides, fungicides, and plant growth regulators. The second category they have is fertilizers, in which they have micronutrient fertilizers and biofertilizers. The third, they have got technicals, which are raw active ingredients which are used in the production of your formulations, agrochemical related formulations, such as pesticides, herbicides, fungicides. So the complete business is a B2B business, okay? So what these guys do is, जो आपकी बहुत बड़ी बड़ी कंपनीज होती है एग्रोकेमिकल का ना, लाइक यू जस्ट अंडरस्टैंड कि देयर आर स्पेसिफिक फॉर्मूलाज जिसके अंदर स्पेसिफिक कंपनीज हैव गॉट देयर मॉलिक्यूल्स और उनका बहुत ज्यादा मार्केट है, एंड देयर आर स्पेसिफिक कंपनी जो बचा हुआ पोर्टफोलियो होता है, लेट्स से आई एम अ कंपनी विच इज वेरी गुड इन एक्स मॉलिक्यूल्स ऑफ हर्बिसाइड्स, लेट्स से, और मुझे मेरा पूरा बुके ऑफ प्रोडक्ट्स कंप्लीट करना है, लाइक फंगिसाइड में बेचना है, तो it's not possible for me to develop each and every molecule, each and every formula, and then produce it and supply. So what I do is I'll supply, manufacture it from a third party vendor, and then I'll brand it under my name and I'll sell. So this company is that, contract manufacturer. So I'll just read out the client's name of Advance Agrolife. The company has got clients like DCM, Shriram Limited, IFCO, Indo Gulf Crop Sciences, which got listed like last month. They got Mankind Agritech, which is the fertilizer agrochemical, arm of your Mankind group, Mankind Pharma, जो listed उन्हीं group company है. Then it has got HPM Chemical, Ulink Agritech, etc., etc. So the company has got 410 generic registrations, 380 formula grade registrations, and 30 technical grade registrations for agrochemical products. So I'll come on its IPO size. So the company is raising 191.9 crores, मतलब 192 round figure. उसमें से company has kept 135 crores for working capital and rest is 56.9 crores. अभी आपको इसको एक चीज समझना पड़ेगा कि इसका वर्किंग कैपिटल इज ऑलवेज गोइंग टू बी स्ट्रेची. रीजन इज वेरी सिंपल. आई एम मैन्युफैक्चरिंग इट फॉर सम अदर कंपनी, और आई एम डूइंग द टेक्निकल्स एंड देन सप्लाइंग टू दैट कंपनी. दैट कंपनी विल मेक मैन्युफैक्चर its own domain products from my technicals, and then it will distribute to a super stockist, then it will go to a wholesaler, then it go to a retailer, then it will go to a farmer. Then after the season over, the payments come and then it comes back. Like 50% is paid early, but like in the most of the cases, and some gets paid after the season is done. We know ना, एक खरीफ होता है, एक रबी होता है. कई बार फर्स्ट सीजन का पैसा सेकंड में निकलता है, सेकंड का फर्स्ट में निकलता है. सो द वर्किंग कैपिटल साइकिल इज ऑलवेज गोइंग टू बी वेरी स्ट्रेची. So to mitigate that, the company either needs to raise debt or either the equity. The company has chosen the equity path to maintain that working capital cycle, so that it can produce more, it can keep more inventory, and then it can generate more revenues. So if I'll now come to financial statement का working capital का आपको थोड़ा calculation दे दूंगा. 23 में the company did a revenue of 398 crores and the PAT was 14.9 crores. FY24 it grew to 457 crores and PAT was at 24.7. तो around 15-17-18% का टॉप लाइन ग्रोथ है, और PAT 15 का 24.7, मतलब that was like good growth. For 25 में the revenue grew by another 10% to 502.3.9, मतलब 503 हो गया राउंड फिगर, और पैट बढ़ के 25.6 हो गया. सो FY25 में they have seen some margin pressure. So that might be the reason. I personally couldn't understand, but ठीक है, at least they have shown the honest financials, not tried to pent up those. So now coming on the working capital का इन्होंने जो दिया है ना, वर्किंग कैपिटल का इनका रिक्वायरमेंट, एंड इफ यू जस्ट लुक एट बाय योर ट्रेड रिसीवेबल डे, जो आपको 122 दिन है, तो अराउंड 780 करोड़ का रेवेन्यू कंपनी प्रोजेक्टिंग, विच इज रफली 20% काइंड ऑफ अ ग्रोथ. top line में, and उसके हिसाब से if you just look at PAT, which would be like normal EBITDA margins and then extrapolation of PAT, तो around 43 crores का PAT आ रहा है इसका. So if you just look at the P exact 15 times FY23 better, तो banker might have the same thesis कि इसको 15 times 26 रखेंगे, और 25 it is at 26 का P, which seems high. But on 25, 26 it is at 15 times. अभी इसका peers देखो honestly तो यार they have shown Sharda, they have shown SRF, which are different league of players. They have shown Heramba, which is also similar, but that has its own. And there is fourth company which was into losses. तो वो तो उसका P नहीं आएगा. So and वो जो दूसरी कंपनी है, those trade at like 30 types का P, and Heramba it's something at like 20-25 types का कुछ है इनका ballpark price to earning. So this company cannot get that brand वाला multiple की भाई I have a good brand and I have a very preferred agrochemical partners for the stockists or the farmers, whatever it is related to. So but you need to understand one thing, ki end of the day, it's a very big scale of business. Reason being, you have got the registrations, you have got the relationships with those clients, and this business में 500-600-700 crore का revenue करना छोटी बात नहीं होती, क्योंकि it's a B2B segment. So it should get like same 15-20 types का multiple. So I am not a fan of the sector which is agriculture related mostly, मतलब majority segment, because मेरा वो नहीं बैठता है. So I'm not very excited for long term point of view, और शायद मैं इसको listing पे भी कुछ consider नहीं करता, but like given small size and इसका LM choice है, तो that enjoys a decent repute, at least in terms of listing, and उसके बाद भी a few of its stocks have done well. Promoters पे आते हैं. Promoters are decent, sorted है. I saw their interview, decent people. In terms of litigations वगैरह ऐसा कोई major नहीं, but if you just look, इनका वो नेगोशिएबल इंस्ट्रूमेंट एक्ट के हिसाब से 50-100 केसेस पड़े, बट दैट इज वो एग्रीकल्चर में सिंपल है ना, वो आपके वो होते रहते हैं 50,000 लाख रुपए के केसेस, 30,000 रुपए के, दैट इज नथिंग. ऐसा नॉर्मल 2-3 छोटे छोटे केस है 10-20 लाख के, बट ऐसा मेजर कुछ नहीं है. सो उधर कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. बट दिस अ फ्लिप व्यू ऑल्सो की लेट्स से दिस कंपनी सप्लाइज टू इंडोगल्फ आया था कुछ ऐसा ही 20 पी टाइप्स पे वो मर रहा है आईपीओ प्राइस के नीचे. तो आई एम नॉट वेरी एक्साइटेड फॉर लॉन्ग टर्म, बट रिस्क टेकर्स कैन इवेल्युएट फॉर स्मॉल लिस्टिंग गेन्स, बट ऐसा आई एम नॉट वेरी एक्साइटेड. बट कंपनी इज गुड, लाइक, बट आई एम नॉट अ फैन ऑफ दिस सेक्टर. सो I would like to give a skip for long term, and depending on the QIP subscription, I might apply some for small listing gains. It surely has some risk, but it's a good company. ऐसा कोई कचरा कंपनी नहीं है, decent company.
Got it. I again feel this will also be heavily subscribed simply because people have nowhere to go. So they'll blindly put money here. I would again err on the side of caution. I also don't have a lot of money. I had put in money on first in a few issues. So I'll see. Maybe I'll apply one company here for the long term view, which we discussed earlier. Those issues, I'm still confused in terms of the real visibility into businesses. We'll see. But yeah, that is with respect to all the issues that are closing tomorrow. So we covered 6 companies which are closing tomorrow. I understand there are a few comments with respect to doing a summary towards the end, where we talk about what we are planning to do. We haven't skipped it for the last few weeks. We'll probably skip it this time as well, but when the issue volume reduces a bit, we'll want to do that as well, where we discuss, because we understand like not all of us would be on the same page with respect to a few companies, right? So it's important to talk those through. We'll come back to that, but yeah, hopefully from next week we'll do that. For now, this is pretty much it. I know next week would be very, very, very interesting. We have 3 big companies, WeWork, Tata Capital, and LG Electronics coming. And then there will be a few SMEs. Hopefully the barrage of SMEs will stop. So we'll spend more time. Tata Capital is a 15.5 crore IPO, K crore IPO. The LG Electronics is 11K crore IPO, and all the liquidity is already, like, market is dying for liquidity, but there is more liquidity which will go out of markets. So it will be interesting to see and evaluate those companies. But yeah, that is with respect to the IPOs for next week. We'll come back very soon. It's Thursday. We'll probably come back on Sunday or Monday latest, because Tuesday is when we work closes. So we'll probably come back on Sunday and Monday and do a few companies when they come. But yeah, that is with respect to uh, today's episode. Thank you so much,
I'll add
everyone, for
two things,
joining.
okay?
Yeah.
First would be, surely attend the next space, which because it is going to have three very big size IPOs, WeWork, Tata Capital and LG, and no one has got any kind of a clue on even Tata Capital, and extremely zero clue on WeWork. So space is going to be very important. And also just before 3 hours is one more Mainboard IPO which has got declared. It's a big IPO again, 1,300 crore IPO. And I guess we have got one or two SMEs, not more than that. So we should surely attend. And the second part would be, we have recently started the Know Your Promoter series, and we have already done, I guess, 10 or 11 interviews in like last 2 weeks. And I'll tell with utmost honesty, it takes a lot of hard work and a lot of efforts to get those and complete those, and to schedule the timings, do the editing work and posting and then requesting the management. So I would urge everyone to at least check out those. And it requires a lot of effort, so please go and check those, and it is going to add up your knowledge only, and we are not going to gain anything here. So that's it from my end.
Yep. The Know Your Promoter series is on YouTube. The YouTube link is in pinned comments, and our Instagram is also in pinned comments. Go ahead and follow
And
us on
also, I
Instagram
would
as well.
tell,
We are putting reels there.
couple of
Let us know
those.
what you think of those reels as well. If you would want us to kind of also review a few companies in short, try and do like 1 minute reviews of companies, would that be interesting idea? Kind of let us know that as well. I don't know how much that will fly, because there's only so much you can talk about a company in a minute. But let us know if you think that would be interesting. We can try and create a couple of those as well, and then we'll go forward from there. But that is with respect to today's episode, or rather short episode with 6 companies covered in an hour. Thank you so much for joining, everyone. We'll see you back next week with October first week IPOs. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.